During my quick lunch break, I stumbled upon my husband and my best friend tangled up in our backyard shed, whispering secrets that shattered my world. I slammed the door shut, bolted it tight, and dialed her fiancé to rush over. What happened next exposed a web of lies that nearly destroyed me, but stick around till the end to hear how it sparked my fierce rebirth. Hey, if you're hooked already, smash that subscribe button and like this video to join our community of survivors sharing real stories daily. There are those pivotal moments in life that hit you like a freight train, derailing everything you thought was solid and leaving you to pick up the pieces in ways you never imagined. Mine crashed in on a crisp Wednesday afternoon when I swung by home to grab a forgotten laptop charger. But before I dive deeper, I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from today. Drop your city or state in the comments, because it's amazing to see how these raw, life-altering tales connect us all across the map. My name is Eleanor Harper, and at 32, I was convinced I'd nailed the American dream. 8 solid years married, a cozy ranch-style home in suburban Dallas, Texas, with a big backyard perfect for barbecues. I ran a small graphic design firm downtown, juggling client meetings and creative pitches, while my husband, Ryan Keller, handled sales for a tech startup from our converted garage office. Life felt steady, like a well-tuned engine. Predictable mornings with fresh coffee from our Keurig, weekend hikes in the nearby state parks, and neighbors who'd become like extended family. That morning started routine as ever. I dashed out after a quick yogurt and granola, yelling goodbye to Ryan as he settled into his desk with his noise-canceling headphones. "Catch you for dinner, babe. Maybe Tex-Mex takeout?" he called back, flashing that easy smile I'd fallen for back in college. Little did I know, those casual words would echo as the last shred of normalcy between us. What awaited me hours later wasn't just a gut punch, it redefined my entire sense of trust and strength. Welcome to Eleanor's True Tales, where I unpack real-life twists every day to inspire and empower. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now. It means everything to me, and you'll get notified for fresh stories that keep you on the edge. All right, let's jump back in, because this one's gonna grip you tight. My days were packed with back-to-back video calls and design revisions, but that nagging unease crept in around noon. Ryan had been distant lately, more late nights, closing deals, sudden gym sessions at odd hours, and he'd started password protecting his phone, brushing it off as work security. I shook it off, blaming stress from his job, but when I realized I'd left my charger at home, right next to our kitchen island, I figured a 20-minute drive was worth it to avoid a dead battery mid-presentation. Pulling into our driveway under the Texas sun, the first red flag was my best friend Lisa's SUV parked out front. Lisa Marino, my ride or die since high school in Austin. We'd shared everything from prom dresses to career advice. She lived just a blocks away in our quiet neighborhood, married to her high school sweetheart, Tom, with a toddler in tow. We grabbed coffees at the local Starbucks every Saturday, vented about life over margaritas. I trusted her like a sister. Seeing her car? Odd, since she usually texted if dropping by, and Ryan rarely mentioned her visits. I slipped in through the side door quietly, thinking maybe she was borrowing tools or something. Mundane. The house was eerily still. No clacking keyboards from Ryan's office, no chatter. Then, faint voices drifted from the backyard through the open patio slider. Curious, I stepped out, heart picking up pace. Our shed, a sturdy wooden structure we'd turned into a storage spot for garden tools and holiday decor, had the door ajar. Laughter, low and intimate, pulled me closer. Peeking through the crack, my world tilted. There they were, Ryan and Lisa, not just talking, but wrapped in each other on an old blanket amid boxes and lawn chairs. His hands on her waist, her fingers in his hair, kissing like teenagers hiding from parents. The air smelled of fresh-cut grass and betrayal. This wasn't a one-off. Their ease screamed habit, history. My stomach churned. How long? Why? Shock froze me for seconds that felt eternal. Then Lisa spotted me, her eyes widening in terror. "Eleanor!" she gasped, scrambling back. Ryan whipped around, face paling. "Babe, wait, this isn't—" Rage surged, but a cold clarity took over. I didn't scream or shatter. Instead, I yanked the shed door shut with a bang, sliding the heavy bolt lock into place, the one we'd installed after a neighborhood break-in. Click. Sealed. "Eleanor, open up! Let us explain!" Ryan pounded from inside. "Think about what you've done," I shot back, voice steady as steel, surprising even me. Heart hammering, I retreated to the patio, phone in hand. First, Tom, Lisa's fiancé, a solid guy who coached Little League and adored her. We double-dated countless times at Rangers games. He picked up on the third ring. "Hey, Eleanor, what's up?"
"Tom, you need to get over here now," I said, calm, masking the storm. "It's urgent, something you have to see for yourself." While waiting, I sank onto a deck chair, piecing together the signs I'd ignored. Ryan's business trips aligning with Lisa's girls' nights. The way they'd linger chatting at our 4th of July parties. How Lisa knew Ryan's favorite craft beers without me telling her. Blind trust had blinded me. Muffled arguments seeped from the shed, accusations flying. "This is your fault," Lisa hissed. "You said she'd be gone all day." Tom arrived in 10 minutes, pulling up in his pickup, concern etched on his face. "Eleanor, you okay?" Sounded serious. I led him to the backyard, voice low. "I found them together in there, Ryan and Lisa." His confusion morphed to horror as pounding resumed. "Tom, is that you?" Lisa's voice cracked. We unlocked Ryan's phone. He'd left it charging inside, no passcode, ironic after years of open book marriage. Texts stretched back 8 months, stolen moments in motel rooms off I-35, plans for weekends when Tom and I were busy, even jokes about our clueless partners. Worst, messages about eloping to Vegas using money from Ryan's side hustle, which turned out to be siphoning from my business accounts. Tom scrolled, face hardening. They planned this, all of it. United in fury, we confronted through the door. "We know everything," I said. "The texts, the theft, it's over." Their pleas turned desperate. Tom and I exchanged looks. This wasn't just heartbreak, it was criminal. We called my accountant next, then the police for the fraud. Tom and I stood there in the blazing Texas heat, staring at the locked shed like it was a cage holding 2 wild animals that had finally shown their teeth. The pounding had stopped. Only muffled sobs and the occasional curse leaked through the wooden walls. My phone was still recording, the little red dot blinking like a heartbeat. Tom broke the silence first. His voice came out low and dangerous, the kind of tone I'd never heard from the easygoing guy who coached t-ball and grilled perfect brisket. "Eleanor, open it. They don't get to hide anymore." I nodded, slid the bolt, and yanked the door wide open. Ryan stumbled out first, shirt half-buttoned, hair a mess, eyes darting like he was looking for an escape route that didn't exist. Lisa followed, clutching her blouse closed, mascara streaking down her cheeks. The smell of sweat and cheap perfume hit me like a slap. Ryan tried the charm first. "Babe, please, it's not what—" "Shut up." I held up his phone so they could both see the screen full of their filthy little love notes. 8 months, Ryan. 8 months of stealing from my company, lying to my face, and screwing my best friend in my own backyard. Sit down, both of you, right there on the patio chairs. They sat. No arguing, no more swagger. Just 2 people who suddenly realized the game was over. Tom stepped forward, towering over Lisa. "You told me you were at your mom's last Saturday when you had a migraine. You were here with him while I was bathing my son and reading him bedtime stories." Lisa opened her mouth, but nothing came out except a broken squeak. I scrolled to the message that still made my blood boil and read it out loud so the neighbors 3 houses down could have heard if they tried. "Ryan, 3 weeks ago. Once the transfers clear next month, we'll have enough for the condo in Austin. Eleanor will never notice until it's too late. She trusts me with the books, remember? LOL. I looked Ryan dead in the eye. "You were laundering money out of my business to fund your new life. That's not an affair, Ryan. That's felony theft." His face crumpled. For the first time in our marriage, he had nothing clever to say. Tom pulled out his own phone. I just forwarded the entire thread to both our lawyers, the police non-emergency line, and, oh yeah, your parents, Lisa. Figured they'd want to know why their daughter's about to be on the news. Lisa let out a wail and doubled over like she'd been punched in the gut. Ryan tried one last desperate play. Eleanor, think about the house, the life we built. The life you were dismantling behind my back? I laughed and it came out sharp, almost giddy with power. That life is mine now. Every brick, every blade of grass, every cent you thought you were stealing. Because here's what's going to happen. I ticked the points off on my fingers like I was reading a grocery list instead of destroying their futures. 1. Ryan, you're going to sign the quitclaim deed my lawyer is emailing over within the hour. The house stays mine, free and clear. 2. You will repay every dollar you stole from Harper Designs, plus interest, or the DA gets this phone and you do time in a very unfriendly Texas prison. 3. Lisa, you're going to confess everything to Tom in writing for his custody filing because those screenshots of you saying you'd fight dirty for the weekends aren't going to look cute in court. 4. Both of you will be gone from this neighborhood by sundown. I hear motels off I-35 are real affordable this time of year. Ryan started to stand. You can't just... Tom put a heavy hand on his shoulder and shoved him back down. She just did. Sirens in the distance grew louder. 2 patrol cars I'd called while they were still locked in their love nest. Fraud over a certain amount gets fast response times in Dallas suburbs. Ryan's voice cracked. Eleanor, I'm begging you. You don't get to beg, I said, and the calm in my voice scared even me. You lost that privilege the first time you transferred my money into a secret account while kissing me goodnight. The officers stepped through the gate, took one look at the scene, and asked who wanted to press charges first. Tom and I raised our hands at the same time. As they cuffed Ryan and walked him across the lawn in front of God and every neighbor peeking through their blinds, something electric surged through me. Not pain, not even anger anymore. Power. Pure, unfiltered power. Lisa was sobbing into Tom's shirt, begging forgiveness he clearly wasn't ready to give. Tom looked at me over her head, and we shared the smallest, saddest, strongest nod 2 people can exchange. That night, after the police left and the tow truck hauled Ryan's precious truck away, liens, baby, I sat alone on my back patio with a glass of wine, staring at the shed that used to hold Christmas lights and now held the ashes of my old life. And you know what? The stars over Dallas never looked brighter. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of paperwork, depositions, and those quiet nights where the house felt too big and too empty. But here's the thing. I didn't crumble. If anything, I bloomed. Ryan's arrest for embezzlement made the local Dallas news circuit a quick blurb about a sales exec caught dipping into his wife's business funds. He pleaded out to probation and restitution, but his career? Toast. Last I heard, he was slinging used cars in Fort Worth, living in a dingy apartment that probably smelled like regret. Lisa? Her fairy tale life unraveled faster than a cheap sweater. Tom filed for divorce the next day, armed with those texts like nuclear codes. He got primary custody of their little boy. Judges don't take kindly to moms plotting custody battles while cheating in a shed. Lisa moved back with her folks in Austin, waitressing at a diner off Congress Avenue. Our friendship buried in the backyard with the rest of the trash. Tom and I, well, we leaned on each other in ways neither expected. Not romantically. At first, it was just shared custody of the pain. We'd meet for coffee at that same Starbucks, venting over lattes about lawyers and moving trucks. He threw himself into coaching, turning his team into state champs. Me? I poured everything into Harper Designs. With the stolen funds recovered and a fat settlement from the divorce, I expanded, hired 2 new designers, landed contracts with big Austin tech firms. For the first time, I wasn't just surviving marriage, I was thriving solo. One crisp fall evening, about 6 months post-Sedgate, I sat on my patio again, wine in hand, watching the sunset paint the Texas sky in oranges and pinks. The shed? I'd torn it down, replaced it with a garden, vibrant tomatoes, herbs, even some wildflowers that attracted butterflies. Symbolic, right? Out with the rot, in with the growth. And Tom?
He showed up that night with takeout from our favorite barbecue joint, brisket, ribs, the works. We laughed about the absurdity of it all, how we'd been sleepwalking through lives built on sand. You know, he said, clinking his bottle against my glass, that day didn't break us, it remade us. He was spot on. I rediscovered hobbies Ryan had mocked, yoga classes at Dawn and Clyde Warren Park, weekend road trips to Big Bend where I'd hike solo, feeling the earth under my boots like a promise. I even dated a bit. Nothing serious, just reminders that I was desirable, worthy, whole. A year later, running into Ryan at a gas station off the interstate, he looked gaunt, defeated. I just smiled. Yeah, you did, but thanks. You freed me to find me. Today, 2 years on, my ranch-style home's a haven, fresh paint in sunny yellows, walls lined with my own artwork from those late-night painting sessions. Harper Designs is booming. I've got a team of 5, and we're eyeing a satellite office in Houston. Tom and I, we're together now, building something real on honesty and respect. His kid calls me Aunt N, and we do family game nights with pizza from that hole-in-the-wall spot downtown. That betrayal, it wasn't the end. It was my awakening. The chains of blind trust snapped, revealing a woman fierce enough to rebuild from rubble. If you're out there feeling trapped in a lie, know this: your strength's waiting, coiled like a spring. One push, and you'll soar. If this tale stirred something in you, maybe a spark of your own power, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life rebounds. Drop your city in the comments. Let's see how far these stories fly. Check the links below for my top vids, and remember, new ones drop daily. Take care, warriors. You've got this.